Hello everyone, welcome to the second part of my Darth Bane series where we'll be exploring how Darth Bane rises and falls to power. And I think this book is a very interesting book. You kind of continue on with Darthana and her adventures while you're still following Bane, which I find really interesting. But in Darth Bane's Rule of Two, which is the second book, Darth Bane goes to the Ordon's moon Duxon to scavenge an ancient Sith temple. Bane finds his objective, Frida Nad's holocron. During the quest, however, parasites called Orbalists cover his body. Now, I find this part was really interesting in the book, and you see how they attach to his body and how he tries to fight him off, but he obviously can't because he tries to cut him. But their shells are immune to lightsaber strikes. So I find that part in the book was really interesting, and you could just see how they all were like leeches and just sucked onto his body. He uses the holocron to gain further knowledge of the dark side, as well as information on the Orbalisk. He learns that Nad faced the same problem with the Orbalisk, so the Dark Lord before him created a suit that would stop them from growing on his face, hands, and feet. Over the next decade, Xana acts as Bane's lieutenant, carrying out his orders to grow the dark side stronger. So I find in this part of the book, for me, I enjoyed the Darth Xana parts, but I was really just more interested in Darth Bane and what he was up to. So it was like I was reading the book and I really wasn't interested in Xana, but I was more interested in Bane the whole time. But I do find that how they switched from both parts in the book was really interesting. During all of this, Darth Xana meets a dark side philosopher that knows an ancient temple of the Sith on Tython, which you might recognize from Mandalorian Season 2. Upon arrival on Tython and entering the tomb, Bane is attacked by scores of techno beasts created of the ancient Sith guard, her Krept. He eventually defeats them and successfully retains the holocron. Xana is able to obtain the information she needs, and her cover is blown at the last minute by her cousin Tomcat, which he was actually in the first book at kind of towards the end after he pretty much takes out all the Sith and Jedi. And I find that one was kind of interesting how they brought that back. And now he's a healer for the Jedi. Realizing she will need him to remove the Orbalisk, she takes him hostage and heads for Tython, with the Jedi on their trail when Bane is about to unleash. So, I find interesting in this part is they end up getting, it's like 5 Jedi versus Xana and Bane. And they end up defeating all of them, but then one of them uses a force shield, and kind of the lightning bounces off the interior shield and cooks Bane alive for seconds, melting his flesh and causing the Orbalisk to burrow further into his flesh, resulting in an unbearable pain. Bane blacks out, and is almost killed by the Jedi, but Xana saves him, and the Master brings him to Umbara. And at this point, I find it interesting on how they ended this book off. And they kind of hid from the Jedi, and they pretty much just made them look pretty dumb. And they could have already almost been exposed, so it kind of makes you think on how many times in the 1,000 years before episode 1 that they have been, like how long has it been, how many times have they almost been caught? But that wraps up the second part Thank you for watching, and I'll have the final part out tomorrow, or technically today. But have a good one.